Without a doubt, Cam Newton deserved to be the number one pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, and the Carolina Panthers made the right move by selecting him. He's an MVP quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL today, household name, genuine superstar, and it all started back at Auburn. Now, when he was at Florida, he did get into some off-the-field issues, went to Texas, played some junior college football, and then got back to the SEC by playing for Auburn. He got Auburn a national championship. He set the world on fire with his play in the SEC, and of course, he got that Heisman Trophy. But what if Cam Newton didn't have a breakout season? What if the Panthers' best option at quarterback was a guy that they selected in the second round the year before in Jimmy Clausen? Now, Jimmy Clausen was projected to go in the first round, but he slipped to the second round, but he was still just the second quarterback taken in that year's draft. What if the Carolina Panthers would have stuck with him? What if the Carolina Panthers would put their trust in Jimmy Clausen and maybe went in a different route in the draft the year that Cam Newton was drafted? So we're going to answer that question here with the Carolina Panthers rebuild here in Madden 2011. Now, if you guys want to see part 2 of this, make sure you let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know by hitting the like button, and only if you enjoyed it. Of course, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and of course, let's jump into it. So Jimmy Clausen right now is 74 overall. Matt Moore, who's our starting quarterback, is 76 overall. Now, how I'm going to do this a little bit different from my other rebuilds is we're going to keep our draft picks. We're not going to just trade away all draft picks to get like a T.O., maybe not T.O. this late in his career, but somebody who's a superstar. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep our draft picks, and we're also going to try our best to scout. We're also going to try our best to make sure that we can develop some of our young guys, because Jimmy Clausen is a young guy, so I'm not expecting to set the world on fire with our play this season. You know what I mean? This season, I'm not really thinking that we're going to make the playoffs. Now, in the preseason, we end up going 2-2. We lose our first game, but then we win our middle games, and we lose the fourth game of the preseason. So our schedule doesn't look to be the easiest, but you know what? I have faith that we can do better than this winning 2 games, and so far, I am right. We have already won 3 games. We're sitting at 3-1. We're going to check out the stats, because usually I just sim the whole season. This time around, we're actually going to sim bits and pieces of the season so we can do some scouting, which we will see in season 2, and also check out the player stats to see where we are. So D'Angelo Williams, he is running the ball pretty well, only averaging 3.1 carries per game, but we keep on winning. Matt Moore, again, not lighting the world on fire with his numbers, but we continue to win until we hit that 3-game slide right there. But that 3-game slide puts us at 6-4, and right now that is best to be 6 in the NFC. So we will be the 6th seed, so we still have a chance to make it to the playoffs. And that's exactly what we do. We go 10-6, and we're going to be taking on the 10-6 Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota. So it's going to be a road game because we did not win the division, obviously. The Saints, coming off the Super Bowl from the past season from Madden 11, they are definitely the best team in our division and maybe in the whole conference. So Pittsburgh, New York, those are the top seeds over there in the AFC. New Orleans and the Giants, they're the top seeds over here, and we ended up getting the 5th seed. So we got to take on Adrian Peterson, Brett Favre, and those Minnesota Vikings. Now, if I did not mention it for this episode, it is going to be seasons 1, 2, and 3. For the next one, it might just be 2 more seasons, and then we're going to wrap it up. I want to keep these to about 2 episodes before we move on to a new team. So Matt Moore, this is my first chance playing with him in this rebuild, and he throws a pass right over King. Maybe if King was a better tight end, he could have made a crazy catch on the football, but that ball sailed right over his head. Our defense gets a stop, though. Matt Moore hands the ball off to Williams. Williams finds a lane. He gets up to the 40, makes a man miss. He's going to say, "Get off from me," in the Minnesota territory, down to the 20, down to the 10, and takes it all the way to the crib, and he is in the final year of his contract, so you know that he wants a brand spanking new deal. Brett Favre under pressure, lets this one go. Chris Gamble is in perfect position to make a pick, but not only does he not make a pick or knock it down, it turns into a reception to Varian, and that's going to lead to this field goal. Kick is up, kick is good, 7-3 is the score. More from the gun. Looking over to the right side, gonna find Steve Smith, who makes the catch just outside the 50-yard line, and that's gonna set up a big first down. Gonna take a shot deep down the middle field to King, who makes the catch, perfect pass, and that's gonna lead to a field goal. So it is now 10-3. Carolina is on top, but here comes Brett Favre of the Minnesota Vikings with all day to comb his hair, do his taxes, and still find Percy Harvin wide open. Again, our D-line is definitely a struggle. Favre again drops back the pass. Peterson in the flat makes a man look absolutely silly. John Beeson, pick up your pride and put it back in your pocket. They're going to give the ball to Peterson at the 1-yard line. He's going to do what he does best, put his head down, get into the end zone, touchdown Minnesota, and now it's a 10-10 ball game going into halftime. Our passing numbers are not there. Rushing is there, but it was really off of that one play. So we are kind of struggling here, to say the least. 3rd and 13 to kick off the second half, and we get sacked. Big Williams gets up in there for the takedown. And here goes Adrian Peterson. Gets over one man. Makes me look silly, and he's going to take it to the crib. Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings. Adrian Peterson is showing why they call him Mr. AD, Mr. All Day. So we're going to set up the screen pass to D'Angelo Williams. We are down 24-14. We have to come back. Matt Moore looking. He's going to find Williams again in the flat, and now it's going to get inside. We're going to get inside the 40. Now we're inside the 30-yard line. So now it's going to be 3rd and 14 from the 32. We look for King, and we cannot hit him. So Matt Moore is struggling, to say the least. Even though he did get us into the playoffs, there's no guarantee that he is going to be our quarterback next year. So it's 24-13. Can we get a stop? We do right there. Harvin is unable to pick up the first down, so they're going to kick the field goal but miss the field goal. So it is 24-13. We have a chance to come back. Williams going to pick up a first down. 3rd and 10. Going to try a screen pass to Steve Smith. Makes the catch, and he's able to turn upfield for a gain of 7. 4th and 3. Now we have to have it with 2 minutes to go, and we're going to find Steve Smith, who makes the catch. Now there's only a minute 58. Going to take a shot deep off of the tip. Steve Smith with the catch. Touchdown, Carolina. We would go for 2 to make it a 3-point game, but we would fail. So here goes Adrian Peterson. We have to get a stop on defense. That's not going to happen right there. So we have to burn all of our timeouts. No timeouts. Got to get stopped. And Adrian Peterson picks up the first down by the hairs of his chin. And that is going to be all she wrote. They bring out the Gatorade onto the field, and the benches too, to pour it on Childress in the middle of the field. You gotta love Madden 11, right? So anyways, man, Adrian Peterson's the MVP. You're gonna see what Matt Moore did. He struggled, to say the least. D'Angelo, he played pretty well, but we were only able to get him the ball 6 times because we were playing from behind, and I wanted to try to get back into this one. Beeson, he played well as well. So here we go, man. The extra point to see who won the Super Bowl, and it is going to be high, you guys, Fran Charles and Alex Flanagan. How you guys doing? But it is the Saints, 24-17, so technically they win back-to-back Super Bowls. Pierre Thomas, he ran the ball, I don't know how many times, but he had 193 yards and 3 TDs. I believe that's a record. 193 yards in the Super Bowl. I believe that's a record, man. So we got to get some things going, because not only are we probably the 2nd or 3rd best technically in our division, the Saints are not only the best team in our division, they're the best team in the whole league. So we are competing with that. So we got to sign a scouting agency, and we re-signed our defensive coordinator. So now everything is set up. We're also going to, redo our stadium just a little bit. We're going to add the EA arcade, and we're going to add some football similar, gaming console. Oh no, football similar is what I added. So yeah, we got some things for you, the fans, to do in case the Carolina Panthers suck, next season. Anyways, man, we are going to get a new sponsor for our stadium. I believe we are going to go with, T-Market Motors. So there it is, man. We're also going to try to sign D'Angelo Williams, but I'm going to just keep a long story short. We're unable to do it, so I just applied the franchise tag to him, and then we will later re-sign him to a long-term deal. Khalil, you got to stay. Marshall, we did not really sign him, but I forgot to turn off a computer assist when it came to signing people, so we actually did re-sign him while I was simulating to get to the draft and stuff like that. So that's my mistake. I'll make sure I'll fix that if we do another rebuild in Madden 11, and of course going forward. That's 100% my mistake right there, but hopefully it doesn't take away from your experience in this video. So we're going to sign Matt Moore to a 1-year deal just to keep him on the roster. But you can see him and Jimmy Clausen are the same overall, but he has a B potential. Jimmy Clausen has an A potential, so I want to give Jimmy Clausen a chance to do his thing next season. You can see me right here signing Hayden, our defensive tackle, because again, I do want to keep our core guys, and our defensive line is shaky, but I don't just want to get rid of everybody and bring in, a backup and a new starter and stuff like that. I want to keep people that are used to our system, because again, I want to keep this as realistic as possible, so I don't just want to trade people away or release people just because they have a low overall. I want to try to keep this realistic, as close to as real as possible. That's what I'm looking for, as I can, even though it is Madden 11. So we're looking through the free agency, and again, the only person I'm gonna really go after is Earl Doucette. So I'm just doing my due diligence and seeing who's out there. Didn't really feel like it was a real need. I mean, Greg, again, he's 84 overall D tackle. He could probably help our team out a great deal, but at the end of the day, he's in his 12th year in the NFL. don't really want to bring him in just for like a 1 or 2 year deal, so we're going to go past that. 83 overall, Earl Doucette is not going to sign with us. I wanted him real bad, but he is not going to sign with us. Now, in Season 2, like I said, we will check out some scouting and how it's done in Madden 11. And, of course, after Part 2, you can always let me know what game you want me to do next. I kind of want to stick with the newer games just for now, because 2K5 and the older Maddens, they just take so long to do because the loading and simulating this takes forever. Now, anyways, man, you see our needs. We need a tight end, we need a kicker, and we need a defensive end, and I felt like we did a good job getting all those things done within the draft. Now, right here, I want a receiver. He was projected to go in the top 5. He might not have really had that talent, you know what I mean? It might have been, you know, a situation where he looks really good, plays really well, has a great combine and stuff like that. But then, at the end of the day, he doesn't really turn out to be who he says he is. But anyways, we end up taking him with our first pick. He was a top 5 guy. We end up having him, you know, later on in the draft. Again, right there, that little screen, I was looking to see if we can trade D'Angelo. I was really looking to trade D'Angelo, but then I was like, you know what, we will work a deal done. And, of course, that's exactly what we did. We take Nelson right there. Now we're looking at Dixon. We're not going to take this. And we have this tight end right here in the 3rd round. Perfect fit for us. He actually turns out to be one of our best players moving forward in this rebuild. So Houston, keep on the lookout for him, because again, he is going to be one of our better players moving forward. Again, we need a kicker, we need a defensive end, we need a strong safety, we need all these positions. So again, I'm just trying to get the best person possible as my controller falls. I hope you guys didn't hear that. But again, the draft is winding down. We are now still in the 5th. We're still in the 5th round, pick 23, excuse me. We end up taking our defensive end. We're going to move on to the 6th round, and I'm going to end up taking a kicker in the 6th round. And this kid right here has a freaking boot. Mike Ward has a boot, and you guys will see it when we advance in this, if we make it to the playoffs. I don't know which year. Might be year 3, might be year 2. Gonna have to stay around to check it out. Last pick of the draft for us, Mr. Irrelevant for us, is going to be this running back right here, Jay. We could have went DN, we could have went strong safety, but I was like, you know what, let's get a running back, because at this point, we still did not sign D'Angelo Williams to that long-term deal. So I was thinking, let's get somebody around who, you know, can maybe be a backup, maybe we can turn him into something, maybe a 3rd down back, maybe a short yardage specialist type of guy, you know. So that was my thinking behind it. So, man, Jordan right there, again, he is going to be a monster. He is already our starting tight end, best tight end on the team. Gross, 92 overall. Our O-line is pretty solid. We have maybe a couple of holes here and there on the O-line, but it's pretty solid for the most part. Marshall, again, that was a mistake. I was prepared to let him walk, but we actually were able to sign him. So you can see me trying to figure out how we did that, but you know it, we got it done. And of course, OJ, he is 92 overall still. We're still trying, we still might need to get, you know, our strong safety situation taken care of, but for right now, I'm pretty happy. Now, this is Jimmy Clausen's first year as a starter. And right now it's not going that well. We are sitting at 1-3, and the L's continue to pile up. We're losing to New Orleans, who I figured we would, but we are 3-6, man. So it's time to do some scouting. Gotta get some deep tackles, because y'all saw what Adrian Peterson did to us. Okay, Adrian Peterson was freaking lighting us up. So we have to get some defensive linemen. We have to get a strong safety. I ended up, I believe, maybe scouting maybe one running back, I believe, just for fun, you know, because again, I love me some running backs. We do have Stewart still, who's a youngster, and we still have Williams, who is very, very productive this stage in his career. We also want to look at some DNs. I don't know if I showed you, but we did have a young Greg Hardy, and we did have a young Charles Johnson. We let Charles Johnson go. I know in real life he was a stud in his prime, but in this he wasn't really that great. I believe Greg Hardy is now, I want to say 80 something overall, but I still want to make sure that we get some people that might be a little bit better at getting at the passer for this rebuild. Not saying Greg Hardy, despite what he did off the field, wasn't a good football player on it, but I'm just saying for this, I wanted to make sure we had some bodies just in case Hardy got hurt, or just in case, you know, things really didn't go all way with him. So we ended up going 6-10 for our first season with Jimmy Clausen as the starter. I believe the Panthers' record that season was 7-9. No, it's actually 6-10. Their first year with Cam Newton, which would have been Jimmy Clausen's second season, they went 6-10. Of course, the year we went to the playoffs and we lost to Minnesota, we actually went, the real Panthers went 2-14, obviously, but we actually went 10-6. So, hey, hey, we got some things done. Now we got to figure out who we going to keep, who we going to let go. I want to keep this right guard. He's young. He's only in his 4th year. You know, he has a pretty decent overall, so we're going to end up keeping him. Ward, who we got late, again, he has a boot, so I'm going to re-sign him. And again, you guys will see that boot coming up in the next season. Matt Moore, we're probably going to let Matt Moore go at this point because he is now 77 overall. And if you remember when I signed him to that 1-year deal, he was 79 overall. Jimmy Clausen, you will see, he has bumped that overall up even more. So Matt Moore, we're going to let go. I want to keep this fullback around, you know what I mean? Not the best at only 76 overall, but again, somebody that knows the scheme, and we really don't want to sign a new fullback because we just want to keep everything kind of in-house. So those are the guys that we're going to sign. We're also going to, I believe I did sign Anderson. That would have been the last guy that you would have saw, but I skipped that because, again, we will draft somebody. We have somebody on the roster that's actually a little bit better than Anderson, our right outside linebacker, but I wanted to keep him around so he wouldn't have to draft somebody, you know, or waste a draft pick on just a backup who I don't know is going to be able to produce and stuff like that. So here are the free agents. We're not going after any free agents. We're not going after any free agents. We're just going to focus on the draft because, again, we did some scouting. So I'm happy with the people that we looked at and stuff like that. So here we go, man. We have pick number 10. We need a guard. We need a defensive end. And we also need a strong safety. So right here, we're looking at Kirk as our defensive end. And that's exactly who we end up picking up. Moving on to the second round of this draft, you can see that we need a guard, another defensive end, and we still need a strong safety. I saw Hester, who was supposed to go first, late first, early second, but I'm like, no, we're going to stick with our game plan. We're going to pick people who we actually need. So we're looking at just who are the top players in the draft right here, or people who are left in the draft going into the second round. We're going to take this strong safety right there, and that, I think, is a solid pick moving forward because he's somebody that we can develop, especially if you guys want to see part 2 of this rebuild. So now it is time to move on to the 4th round as we made that selection right there. We don't really have too many holes. I feel we just have to find people who we can develop over time. So we need another defensive end. I like Dodd right there, and Dodd is actually going to turn into someone that we actually use moving forward. He's actually going to be somebody that can actually step in and take a position away from one of our other defensive ends. So I'm excited about that. Getting some good picks in the 3rd round is crucial. It's crucial. Yes, you got to get, you know, an instant starter, instant playmaker in the 1st round as you take Cunningham right there, and the Cunningham turns out to be our 2nd best tight end already, and he was what, a 5th round pick. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. Our receiver that we took, I believe in round 1, our 1st draft, he didn't turn out to be nothing. Okay, he didn't turn out to be nothing. That was probably the worst pick that I could have done. But at the end of the day, we did find some people in later rounds of the draft, you know what I mean, that were able to step in and do their thing. So Jimmy Clausen right now is 84 overall. We only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster. So I'm like, we got to sign somebody. Angelo Williams, 93 overall. Stewart is 91 overall. You can see that Jay, the guy that we drafted in year 1, he is no longer on the roster. We signed him to a 1-year deal. Again, Fabian, he let me down, man. 66 overall. He was our first pick in the draft. But look, Houston, 80 overall. Cunningham, 79 overall. And then Robertson, who I believe we did draft. Yeah, we did draft. He is still sitting at in the 58. So our tight ends looking good. Gross is up to 94 overall. We need a right guard, so we will address that if we move on to part 2 of this rebuild. Because whenever I do a rebuild, I always want to finish it off. I can't just, you know, end one season because I always get attached to the team and I always want to see how this team could progress with at least 1 or 2 more seasons with me controlling them. Like I said, there goes Dodd and Kirk. They the ones are left, and as you can see, he's better than Greg Hardy. He's actually 75 overall. I misspoke when I said he's 80 overall, but he is 7. And Kirk right now is the backup to Brown, who's 82 overall. So again, I'm liking our defensive line situation. Beckwith, he's 79 overall. Not bad going into his 2nd season, so maybe he can step it up just a little bit more, get to that 80 overall mark. But I do feel like we have a team that can contend for a Super Bowl, at least a playoff spot. At least a playoff spot. We still got Beason, 96 overall. We had Thomas Davis, 88 overall. Norwood, 75 overall. His backup Anderson is 74. So we don't really take a dip if he gets hurt. Both those guys are solid right outside linebackers. And of course, when we go to that dime, I try to make, or that nickel, excuse me, I try to make sure that Davis and Beason are both on the field at the same time. Martin, he has developed to an 80 overall safety. So I'm not too mad at that. So now let's move on to the regular season. Josh Johnson, he went to Oakland Tech. He was a senior when I was a sophomore there. That's Marshawn Lynch's cousin. They both got us a city championship at Oakland Tech. Shout out to those boys. Oakland Tech, where you at? Anyways, man, we are moving on to the 2012 NFL season, and you know that we are looking to make a big time splash this year. So we're going to check out the stats real quick. We've already submitted about 5 games, and look at Jimmy Clausen's number. 23 TDs, 11 interceptions. Williams has 2 TDs, but Stewart, he has 5 TDs, so Stewart is coming into his own as well. And as you can see, as we head into the last game of the season, well, actually, we are going to the wild card round because we are 10-6. So we end up having a pretty good season. You can see the playoff picture for the AFC: Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Patriots, Houston, and of course the Steelers. Then you also got the Saints, who are, again, the best team in our division, best team in all of football, and we are technically the 5th seed because Arizona won the division. So Jimmy Clausen, 27 TDs, 2,978 yards. That's their second-year quarterback. That rookie is freaking gross. That dude can ball. So here we go, man. They're going to take a shot deep down the field to kick things off. That's going to be Larry Fitzgerald. He gets up to about the 20-yard line. So here we go with Beanie Wells. Beanie Wells, he's going to break a tackle, and Beanie Wells is going to head to the end zone. Is rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling, and they give him the touchdown, so we are down by 7. But here comes Jimmy Clausen, showing that we don't need Cam Newton. He can run to... Okay, I'm lying. I'm lying. Cam Newton is that dude. But Jimmy Clausen showing that he could be that guy. So Jimmy Clausen dropping back the pass, and this time he makes a mistake. Throws it right to Roger Cromartie. Led Steve Smith a little bit too far. Probably not the best window to throw that one in. And we're going to end up giving up a field goal. Just kidding, because they are unable to knock that one home. So still 7-3. Jimmy Clausen trying to get Carolina the first playoff game win in a while. Going to find Steve Smith, and that's going to set this field goal. And like I said, Ward, he could have knocked that one home from like 65. That boy has a boot. Let's go. So 7-3 is the score. They have time in the pocket. Again, our D-line is just not getting home, and they're going to find Beanie Wells, who picks up a big first down out of the backfield. Now they're going to give it to him. Up that gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona Cardinals. So now it's 14-3 going into halftime, and I'm thinking to myself, yo, I thought this team was going to be something special. We are supposed to be competing maybe for a Super Bowl this season with that roster. So Marshall comes up big with 24 seconds to go in the third quarter, gets that pick, and now it's on your shoulders, Jimmy Clausen. We're going to find D'Angelo Williams and cut back, whoop, makes a man miss, finally gets brought down at about the 33-yard line. Clausen from the gun has time. Looking over the middle, going to find LaFell, and LaFell gets us inside the red zone. 2nd and 10. Clausen with time over the middle, going to find Steve Smith. Touchdown, Panthers. So Jimmy Clausen and the boys do their job, but now it's up to the defense. Do we have enough talent on the defensive side of the ball to get a stop? Tim Hightower, welcome to the 49ers. Big time run right there. Beanie Wells, he's going to run it forward. He's going to pick the first down. So it's 3rd and 4. Tim Hightower, I love you. You don't want to wear Frank Gore's number 21, and you got stopped by our defense. I appreciate you, bro. And on top of that, they missed the field goal. I was hoping to get a stop, tie the ball game up, but now we have our eyes set on winning this game. Going over the middle, Steve Smith, whoop, makes a man miss, gets dropped at the 45-yard line. Clausen with time goes over the middle. We had our second-year tight end Houston wide open. Jordan was wide open, but I missed him. I finally fell. 1st and 10. We are under some pressure because time is ticking, and we can't win this one with a field goal. Can't win tied up with a field goal. So it's 2nd and 17 after a sack. We're gonna find our second-year tight end, my man Houston. Big time catch right there. We call a timeout. No more timeouts. 15 seconds. Steve Smith, one hand grab for the touchdown. Last chance for Arizona. There's no time on the clock. He's going to roll to the right side, get sacked by Beeson. And I keep wanting to say Benson, but get sacked by Beeson. No need to even tap nothing. This one is over. We bring our Gatorade onto the field with the benches, and we pour it at midfield on the coach. Again, I don't know why it's like that, but it is, man. Anyways, man, 5 receptions, 60 yards, averaging 12 yards per catch, 2 TDs for our man Steve Smith, and Jimmy Clausen played pretty well. So here we go, man. Earlier today, Jimmy Clausen comes off the bus. He has the eye of a tiger. He knows he is in some big time competition right here. He's in the big time competition, not just versus the 2-time Super Bowl champs, but against Drew Brees, future Hall of Famer. So Brees with nothing but time on his hands, gonna find Clausen. Big time grab right there. 2nd and 8 already in our territory, taking a shot deep to Clausen in the corner of the end zone. Chris Gamble, you dropped your pride, son. Pick it up and put it back in your pocket. Clausen, he's going to drop back the pass. He coughs it up. Alex Brown going to rumble, bumble, and stumble his way into the end zone. Touchdown Saints. So we're down by 14. We got to come back. Screen pass to my man D'Angelo Williams. Gets a block. LaFell get out the way. My man inside the 20. My man inside the 15. It gets dropped at about the 13. 3rd and 1 from the 4. And we throw a pick. And once again, we had Houston in the flat. And I just missed him. I had tunnel vision on Steve Smith. I mean, Steve Smith's that dude who wouldn't have tunnel vision on him. But I make a huge mistake. Then Jeremy Shockey rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling his way into Panther territory with a big first down. Breeze has, again, nothing but time. And he takes a shot in double coverage. And that's Creighton. And we would challenge it. And it would be upheld. Creighton. Patrick Creighton. He just went over 2 defenders. So we are down 21 in the 2nd quarter. But Clausen, he has faith. I got faith in Jimmy Clausen. Let's do work, man. We're going to find Steve Smith. Big time catch, but then our O-line is starting to break down. Our O-line is getting a little bit older in age. They're breaking down, man. We have got to get some protection for Jimmy Clausen. Here we go. Big time interception with 48 seconds to go in the first half. My man Chris Gamble from the Ohio State University gets this one upfield. Big time first down. Let's go. Clausen with time. Gonna go in the middle to Mr. Williams. D'Angelo with a huge catch right there. We cannot get a field goal. We gotta get a touchdown. And Jimmy Clausen, like, I gotcha, puts the team on his back and rumbles and bubbles and stumbles his way into the end zone. Touchdown Panthers. All right, so here in the 3rd quarter now, Drew Brees with time. He's going to find Meacham first down. They're already in our territory. It looks like they're already in field goal range. That does not look good for us. He has time. He's going to make a mistake. Drew Brees is human. Martin with the pick. He could go all the way. Brees is too slow. You might be one of the best quarterbacks when it comes to throwing the football, but you ain't fast, bro. So Martin going to take that one all the way to the crib. 21-14 defense. I know that you have been playing well, but we need another stop right there. Last play of the 3rd quarter to pick up a first down. Breeze with time. We got to make this tackle, and Hobbs says, get off of me, as he picks up the first down. That is not what we needed. They give the ball to Pierre and Martin. Pick up your pride, son, and put it back in your pocket. That is a disgrace. So anyways, man, there's a minute 49 to go. Jimmy Clausen with an absolute strike to Steve Smith. We are not going to give up. We have the heart of a Panther. Let's go. We're going to roll out and get hit by that Madden 11 cheeser as Alex Brown is able to bait me and then freaking force me to throw a pick on back across my body. Again, if you guys want to see part 2, where we're going to do 2 more seasons with the Carolina Panthers, let me know down in the comment section below. The Saints will go back to the Super Bowl, but they will end up losing to the Colts. So they went to the Super Bowl 3 years out of 4, going back to the real life Super Bowl versus the Colts, and they end up getting 2 out of 3 in 4 years. But anyways, that's going to wrap this one up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's kind of long, so I do apologize, but I think that's what I'm going to do with these first rebuilds for part 1. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope the rest of the day is the best of your day. Peace. Peace out.